everyone. My name is Richard Parker. I'm with Tech Data. For joining today's webinar, we will be getting started in about another minute. We're waiting for a couple of folks to join. So give us about 1 minute and we'll get started.
You're muted. To unmute your line, press *6 or #6 and you will hear a slight tone when unmuted.
Good afternoon once again, everyone. My name is Richard Parker, and I'm a business development manager here at Tech on the TDCloud business. And to get started with NetIQ, who's our guest presenter today, I wanted to cover off on a few housekeeping items. If you can, please mute your line on your end. We are muting the lines here as we see people join the call. This way there's no background noise. So you can do us a favor and just mute your lines if you can. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and get today's webinar kicked off. I want to thank NetIQ for being a partner here at Tech Data and for being a partner in particular with our TDCloud business. And we have John Einhaus, I think I pronounced it correctly, John, who's going to run today's presentation for us. And just I think you should have the controls of the presentation right now. If you can go ahead and confirm for me.
Thank you, Richard, and I think I do. At least it tells me I do, and when I make the first click if it works or not.
Okay.
Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining the webinar. I'm looking forward to speaking with you and helping you if you have any questions. We've some really cool products to talk about, products that are compelling for some of your customers, but maybe not all. But for some of the customers that will find it compelling, they'll find them very compelling. In this case, we're talking specifically about NetIQ's Advanced Authentication, which provides multi-factor authentication for SaaS products, cloud-based products, and also legacy systems. Without further ado, let's do a click and see if it works. Okay, so we'll talk about, for the agenda today, we'll breeze right through it all, but we'll talk about NetIQ's identity and access management, talk about a little bit of some authentication observations, logging onto systems, passwords, that kind of stuff. We'll talk about integrated products that fit all of this technology and how that technology works together, and how to identify some opportunities and of course, contacts. So Q has been in this business for years. We've got at least 20 years in the identity and access management area. And in this particular space, we're one of the leaders. We're a leader in the Forrester Wave implementation, and we have a fine partner program. If you'd like to join, welcome you to join. If you're not already a partner, many of you may be already, but just partnernetprogram.com to sign up. It doesn't require any commitment to be an enable partner, but it gets you a lot of enablement and a benefit and a lot of good connections with the organization. Observe a few things about authentication. When people need to access a system, what are some of the features? Well, one of the first features, and excuse the vernacular here, but passwords suck. Nobody really has a good time with passwords. People have too many passwords. They forget passwords. They stick their passwords on their computer screens. They write them down on a file somewhere. They're never scrolled. There are all sorts. I'm hearing a little background noise. Hopefully you can hear me okay. But passwords have issues. They're not secure. Because people do write them down, because people use weaker passwords than they should. And access management is an administration nightmare. Being able to do the administration of providing access to end users and removing access and changing access to different systems when all of the users within an organization may have multiple systems and multiple accounts that they need to access. Compliance. If you're an organization that needs to show that you're compliant to an auditor, these are verticals like healthcare, state and local governments, education, legal, finance, retail, these kinds of verticals, being able to report who has access to what can be a nightmare. Another few authentication observations is one size does not fit all for every user. And what it means is for a particular system, different users may not need tight credentials, or they may need tighter credentials and more specific access. Size doesn't fit all for every application. Applications may have different types of access requirements. Some require tighter control, tighter authentication control, and don't. And one size does not fit every situation or location. You have, a prime example of this is as a doctor in an operating room, you don't want them to have to worry about typing in their password. You might have some other form of authentication to make sure that that person can access the system. But in other situations, you may want to use passwords or other means of authenticating. But what it comes down to is it's a real complex thing and headache to manage. Let's see, let me go there. There we go. And it is a security and compliance thing. And really what it comes down to is this is just illustrating that the whole password thing is a pain in the butt for end users. If I'm an user and I have all of these systems that I need to access, and there is a different authentication, different ID and password for these systems because they're not tied into my directory for whatever reason, then you need to keep in place this many logins and passwords. That's not the case for me working for NetIQ. I have login and one password for all my stuff because we use our own products. But if I'm a user in an organization that doesn't have NetIQ products, then I have headache. Headache becomes more of an issue for the admins and securities who need to provision that access and move that access and report on that access to auditors. So why this product is very compelling, or these products here are very compelling for organizations that are in these verticals that require security and compliance. It's simply because administrators and security and compliance professionals need to keep track of this and are compelled to keep track of this. You know what, for an end user, is not always the driving factor for some require a product like this, but the requirement to an auditor that a secure profile is a compelling reason. So what questions then becomes, how do I access all my apps? Are the different kinds of apps that I do access? There's apps that have different technical ways to access based on directory ties in and based on different kinds of systems. And really the legacy systems that are running within an organization. There are web-based systems that may not be hosted or on-prem. Obviously, there are cloud applications that are out there now that people need to access, like Office 365, Google Apps, Salesforce, Adobe, all of those types that are out there, and and many others. And people are accessing these from different devices. There's desktops, there's laptops, there's tablets, there's phones, there's kiosks. There are all these different places that people, as individuals, are accessing their multiple different systems. From an user's point of view, they want it to be seamless and be easy. From an administrator's point of view, and from a compliance and security point of view, people want the administration and the reporting on these things to be easy and seamless as well. And so we provide products that help this, and one of the first and foremost is for a SaaS-based application. We have NetIQ Cloud Access, and NetIQ Cloud Access provides secure single sign-on for SaaS apps. So if I have multiple SaaS apps out there, then I need to access, and I don't want to have multiple sign-ons for all of these different applications that I'm accessing, and I don't want to provide administration for these touch points, and I don't have the ability to gather all of these logs together. I want to be able to log in at one place in one gateway and provide access to all of my systems from all of my access points, whether they be the laptop, phone, flip, those kinds of things. So that access is a point product that handles the secure single sign-on for products. Manager provides a similar kind of thing by providing foundation web-based products, and it also provides the ability to get mobile access for these web-based products. So it ties in and dovetails very nicely with IQ Cloud Access to provide foundation and get that single sign-on experience for web-based applications that go beyond SaaS apps. The enterprise single sign-on also have a product called Pure Login that's in and provides that single sign-on experience. I say this because these different products are point products. They're inexpensive products, but they all tie in together to provide a view for the users within the organization, the end users, the administration, and the reporting folks for compliance and security, by adding in the NetIQ Advanced Authentication Framework. And NetIQ Advanced Authentication Framework does is it provides one place to have multiple different types of authentication protocols, including passwords, but including things like individual IDs from phones, the frequency that each individual phone chip provides, MS text questions, U-keys, challenge responses, emails, all these kinds of things that provide different ways to verify authentication that could be part of a password scheme or instead of a password scheme. There are places in many organizations today where password can be obsolete and that an organization can verify the identity of a person without having to resort to passwords. So what NetIQ Advanced Authentication provides then is one authentication framework for everything. Means is compared to competitive products are out there where the different types of authentication schemes requires a different appliance. We have just one framework where multiple different types of authentication schemes can be managed in one place for a lot of benefit, including you're reducing the number of devices, reduce cost, reduce management, and reducing the infrastructures from what could be many to one. So costs are lower, the security is higher, and the scalability is higher. But it's a centralized policy engine. So we have one policy for all of the different types of password schemes and authentication schemes you may have in place. Yell to the largest and most complex type of organization for multiple type of systems, going to that doctor that might need to just authenticate based on the pass card that they use and they bring to the office in operating room, but that doctor gets the card one day. You may still want to have them be able to access the systems, but you may include a couple of challenge response questions as logging into their system that provides authentication of who that person is, but at the same time, may hassle enough that the next day they won't forget their card. We're all enough for part-time administrators. The interface makes it easy for people who aren't computer gurus to do the administration of who has access to what. Granular policies that are specific to users, devices, and locations. So different people for different applications may have different ways to authenticate. It could be based on the phone. It could be based on an SMS. It could be based on challenge response. But the info, the application, and the location are the controlling pieces, and you can put policies in place based on roles. Provide delegated administration and the tracking of changes to keep policies secure. And we cross all authentication methods, alleviating redundant work and inconsistent authentication. And one of the cool things about this for a lot of organizations is that it's flexible enough to go beyond passwords. Even if an organization doesn't need the multi-factor across the board, it does need that additional security level. You provide a high level of protection for certain applications because they'll tie in different authentication types for specific types of users, and users may not need to have their own username and passwords to enjoy secure access that's fast and convenient. And so what it comes down to is it provides that flexibility to provide access based on the situation at hand for the application, the location, and the individual who's logging in. Side event logging, and this is great, again, getting to that security and compliance thing. Define which types of authentication events are logged for later retrieval, and types of these, of course, could be successful logins, unsuccessful logins, changes in enrollment, configurations, those kinds of things. Keep track of who has access to what and who has access to what. So, one of the questions, of course, is can you make money with such a beast? And the answer is yes, of course. Their product is great, again, for those verticals like healthcare, lead, legal, finance, and retail. And one of it is for these kinds of organizations, because it does tie in, and especially sparked by these new technologies that are cloud-based technologies, SaaS products, and mobile products. Organizations are now asking how can they provide that access management and keep it secure and keep it in compliance without breaking the bank. How they do it, make it easy, and make it cost effective. One of the great ways you can attach these is attach it to these new technologies like the new apps that people are using, like Office 365, like Salesforce, like other tools that are being more cloud-based as people adopt these and get more to that service-oriented infrastructure as opposed to the product infrastructure. And of course, attach it to mobile usage. A lot of organizations, it's kind of funny. The kind of verticals that we're talking about here are the same exact verticals that are probably adopting mobile devices faster than other verticals are. And so good for compliance is by their need for productivity that mobile devices provide. And so we're a great time for organizations to be using mobile devices. So you get additional services if you're in the services business as well for deployment, building connectors, tying it in all together, AD support. You could make part of a service provider business. All provides opportunity. just as a note, you can even make more money with us for some of these products right now because we're running a program through Tech Data called Going for Gold. And NetIQ Cloud Access product is part of that, where you can, even if not an elevated service partner for NetIQ, for specifically NetIQ Cloud Access and Access Manager, you would be able to get a rebate as part of this Going for Gold program. So if you're interested in this, there may be ways for you to make a nice little bit of more margin on products as well. I have a PartnerNet program that is key for all of our partners. It includes for elevated partners a deal registration program, certifications, excellent enablement, excellent training courses for technical and sales, and downloads, all sorts of things that can help enable you as well as lists of contacts that you can tie into for our products. And that is really the extent of the presentation today on our advanced authentication. Obviously, if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer as best as I can right now. And my contact information is there, my email at bottom left there. If anyone has any questions at all at any point, please feel free to reach out to me, and I'll be help connected with the right people.
Okay, well, John, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to open up the chat. So basically, if you have a question for John, go ahead and use the chat feature, and I can see your questions, and I can read off to John. Then once we go through the Q&A, we'll do the good stuff. We'll announce the winner of the $100 gift card. And submit your question if you do have any right now. John, waiting on that. One question did come in while you were presenting.
Okay.
It was around the partner program, okay? And the question is, do they have to be in the partner program to take advantage of the incentive? I think it was like a couple of slides ago when you talked about the partner incentives.
Yeah, the answer is yes. One thing I will say is that the commitment for joining our partner program is very small. Basically, you fill out the form and complete it and submit it, and become part of the partner program. So if you're willing to go that far, then at that point you would be eligible for that particular program.
John, any other questions out there? If you do have them, go ahead and use the chat feature. Well, Johnson did a great job, okay? No other questions coming in so far.
Well, I hope so. I hope this was interesting to folks. One of the things, again, that is the verticals that are in there, and if people have these pain points, products that be sold together as a collection of framework, or they could also be sold as point products. So there's a lot of benefit that you can provide that can go whole hog, or if an organization is looking just to fill a point, we have products that help in that. It'll be a trusted advisor. It helps resellers be that trusted advisor.
Well, we're able to join us today. If you do want to see a rebroadcast of this webinar, it will be it has been recorded and will be posted out onto our TDCloud YouTube site. I'll send an email as a follow-up to everyone who joined today's webinar, and I'll include that link. So if you want to take another look at this webinar in the future, you can find it out on the YouTube site. All right, if you don't mind, so I'm going to go ahead and announce the winner of the gift card for today, okay? Sure. And so the winner of the $100 gift card is Cindy Hall. I'll reach out to you, Cindy, to get your contact information, and we'll work with John to get that sent over to you. And so with that, I want to thank John with NetIQ for coming in and doing the presentation today. If you have any questions for John, you see his contact information is on the screen still. And if you have any or questions for Tech Data, you can always reach out to us at TDCloud@techdata.com. And that, I want to thank everybody for joining. And until next time, take care and have a good afternoon.